If you want, there seems to be space. The city and the city council is faced with an interesting leadership dilemma. On one hand, we have a long-tenured city manager who, by many objective measures, has done a great job. On the other hand, the recent adverse outcome of a very long and expensive legal battle, and two seemingly related pending lawsuits, have management behavior issues at the core. So the question is, given this situation, if you are elected to the council, will you be satisfied with the current state of affairs, or will you focus on changing the leadership dynamics and leadership environment of the city, and how? And so we'll start with Sam.
Thank you for that. No, I think, first of all, I think on the question of the city manager, sort of the first question that typically comes up is, and which I have answered publicly in the Chronicle, is I am not seeking to find another city manager at this point in time. I think on balance, on the whole, the citizens of Cambridge have benefited from the management and the administration of the city by the team that I think continues to perform very well. And I think a lot of the economic numbers that we've seen locally have shown that Cambridge has survived, more than survived, done well during a time of great national challenge in terms of our economy. So those are things that all return back to the citizens as benefits, I believe. Now, that doesn't mean everything's great. It isn't. But it does mean that the city is really doing a good job on that front. I think the challenge for the council, really, because there's a built-in, and you need to give me a time so I don't just end up talking and talking.
Anybody you could probably talk.
Yeah. No, one could talk about this for quite some time. But as we know, any system where there's an executive and then a deliberative body, a legislative body, an elected body, there's a tension there, and there should be. That's how it's designed. And that's what it's there for. I think what the council needs to do is to figure out how to speak clearly to the manager on issues that are very important, at least to a majority of councilors, so that the council can express some view that the manager just simply cannot avoid. Because I think if we are sort of moving in different directions than our own directions, the manager has to manage the city on a day-to-day basis, and will do so. And so I think one of the challenges, and I've worked, at least from my perspective, hard in conjunction with the mayor and with others on the council, to really develop a way in which we kind of get our own stuff together, so that we're not wasting people's time with arguments that really aren't going to benefit anybody. I think that's a challenge in the upcoming term as well, but I'm not seeking a new city manager.
Me? I think that I would echo much of what Sam just said. I think it's the same sentiment. I think that we live in a terrifically run city, and we are, almost to the point where we are somewhat embarrassed when we go to these national conferences and all about the wealth and ability that we have to affect change in our community. No one's perfect, and Bob Healy has his strengths and his weaknesses. And I'll just tell you kind of a funny little thing that we just recently, I arranged a professional development couple of days for the council back in the spring, and we had a follow-up this summer. And as part of the follow-up, the council all took the Myers-Briggs test. And if you look at the chart, the council was all down here, P's and big thinkers, and kind of, how to envision something big. And Mr. Healy and his team were all on the opposite end. The folks that have to say no, the folks that you need to convince. And quite honestly, what I would say is that as parochial as Bob Healy can be, if you go to him with facts and figures and you make a good argument, it is very rare that you will get turned down for something. You know, Bob is a former school teacher and has been deeply, deeply committed to improving the public schools in our city. This initiative that we're doing, you know, this is probably between the high school renovation and then the rebuilding of the elementary schools, 4 of them, it is probably a $300 million investment. This is a huge, huge investment. And promise me when I tell you, there is no other community in the Commonwealth that's doing this right now. And we're able to do this because of that leadership. I will say that Mr. Healy is 68 years old, and he's not going to do this forever. And I think that the council is going to have to look at what next. And you know, he has a group of very seasoned professionals, and I think that's what separates the Cambridge leadership from many other communities. And it is my hope that we can look at developing people that we have in the city right now, because what I am fearful of is that we bring somebody in from outside and we take a curve for a while.
That's right.
And I think in a difficult economic sense, we can't do that. I will just add one thing, if I might, on the issue of the lawsuits. You know, those lawsuits, this has been a very unfortunate situation for the city. And you know, although there are these other pending lawsuits, they are not all against the same individuals. So that's something I just want to put out there.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate something that Mayor Maher said about what happened in Rinton Latin and the library. And I don't know if anyone got a chance to see the new high school. And a couple of Saturdays ago, there was an event there where everyone got to take a tour of the high school where I went. And it was certainly interesting to see the cafeteria completely redone, and City Manager Healy spoke, and I haven't seen him as energized as I've seen him speak that morning, and he's really, and it was evident that he was extremely passionate about being a former school teacher, about the kids here in Cambridge, and you know that meant a lot to me, because we know he's a great manager of money, we know he manages the departments really well, and he's got great employees underneath him, but to see that he's got so much, you know, passion for the future of Cambridge and its actual people, to make sure that they've got a place to go to school that they want to learn at, you know, and it was just another notch for me to just, you know, let myself know that if elected, I would support him. Like Mayor Maher said, he is going to eventually retire, and we need to make sure that, you know, the next city manager is someone who emulates him and also can communicate in ways that we need to communicate in the 21st century, because we have changed as a people, and it's changed since the 30 years he started, and 30 years ago that he started, and as we do go on to the next city manager, and you know, if Healy stays on, hopefully he can adapt as well, or continue to adapt to be better communicators, and also, you know, more effective communicators in using all the tools at our disposal right now. And one thing that's good to know is that people are itching for that. They're itching for that information coming from city government. And as someone who's been an organizer and who wants to get more community engagement and civic participation, I think it's very important to make sure we get as much communication out of the executive as well as the city council. So,
Thank you, Matt.
you're welcome.
Okay. Now it's Greg Moree's turn to communicate.
City manager. All right. The city manager, I think, is doing a wonderful job. He's been doing it for 35 years, and the schools are looking great. Fresh Pond is beautiful. Everything is working real good in the city of Cambridge. And I'm going to miss him at some point when he does retire, because I've known him for 35 years. And whoever comes into transition for this position, whenever, it could be another 6 years from now. I mean, I would support another 6-year contract for Mr. Healy. If he wants to go on for another 6 years, let him go on for another 6 years. We're going to make a transfer of new people? Yes, we are. But we have to find the right people. And we have to find the people that's from Cambridge, that's been here for 20 years. The next city manager, I want to know for 20 years. I don't want anybody coming in from outside. We have to pick among ourselves. Maybe Sam Seidel might be the next city manager. Maybe Larry Fields can be the next city manager. Maybe David Maher can be the next city manager. But whoever it is, we want to be able, we can trust him, we know him, we understand him, what school he went to, what his values are, what he cares about, if he's ever been convicted of anything else. So this city manager, Robert Healy, I love him with all my heart. I hope he gets another 6 years. Yes, I do.
Thank you. We have another question, but not a lot of time. So
We're judging you, John, on the time.
we've got about 1 minute. We've got 1 minute. You want a speed answer? Many candidates have expressed an interest in greater transparency in city government. In what way do you think Cambridge government needs greater transparency? Just quick, just 10-word answer, starting with Dave.
I would say just communication. I think the city has not done the best job at communicating and getting messages out to folks. And I think you're seeing that change. I think the website and I think that the e-communication is better than it was, but it needs to still improve.
Matt?
Yeah, you know, being an active city councilor as a you know, getting out into the community and letting folks know what's going on, but you know, we also need to think about our newspaper and it's you know, the Chronicle has short money and unfortunately they can only do so much with what they have. But you know, I was in Ireland this summer, and every town and city in Ireland has daily and weekly newspapers that are read at a high volume. And that's how, and they vote at over 50% in municipalities, over 50% elected. So, you know, I think it's not just, it's like the Harvard Crimson, you know, get on out there, you know.
We have a Cambridge Day
The
here.
Cambridge Day, it's snuck right behind you. You know, and that shows how much we have a yearning for information, and we have an individual putting out a newspaper.
Greg? About transparency, what ways do you think government needs greater transparency? I think we're almost out of time, so you have to be really quick.
Hold it now. Hold it. You got me now. You got me now.
Sam?
No, I think the place to start is with communication.
I want to come back to that.
And I think the web is a place, I think some good things have happened on the web, but I think more needs to happen. And I think, you know, we have a lot of meetings where stuff gets discussed. But it doesn't, and there are public meetings and they're noticed, but if you're not checking the cities, you know, if you're not actively going, so it'd be nice to find a way to kind of push that information out to you, so you could get it in real time, and then if you want to come, it's easier for you to participate.
Sometimes more people watch, I mean, look at Mr. Winter's website than they do the city website.
Oh,
Greg, the more just 10 seconds.
Well, 10 seconds. If you're talking about people finding information into the cities, okay. Well, put it on the website. Make sure it's on the website. Make sure it's on City Hall. Make sure everybody sees it. Put it out into laundry mats. Whatever it is, get it out there into the paper. But the paper has to print this stuff, and it has to be a fair editor printing this information going out. And if it's you know, discriminating of any way with this information going out, we have to correct it.
Thank you.
That's right.
Okay, end of session.
Okay, I hope I got it.
Thank you.
Stay in here.
Huh? I know it.
If you do it tonight, I'll be right back.